What's up, developers? I'm working on my next full-length deep dive course that I'll be posting here on YouTube, and I thought I would show you the outline and give you a little sneak peek of what's coming soon. And since I'm actively working on this, if you have any thoughts or opinions or feedback, let me know in the comments and I'll take them into consideration as I'm building out this course. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what I'll be building. So this is going to be a Hono and Cloudflare course. As you can see, here's the thumbnail that I've got workshopped so far. I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you think. And then workshopping this title here as well. Build a full stack app with Cloudflare, Hono, and React, easier than AWS. And I think that's the big selling point here. Cloudflare is awesome. It's a lot easier than AWS. And so now I'm moving on to what is the actual web app that I'll be building here, and it will be a production grade waitlist. And at first, that might sound kind of boring, but there's actually a lot that goes into a waitlist, and I'm going to show you the tech stack and the features in just a minute. But before I do that, I want to talk about why I'm doing this course and why I chose to make a waitlist. And the reason here, so I've got these four different goals. The first is a personal goal. So my dream is to be a solopreneur and escape the rat race. And I have some product ideas that I would like to build. But the thing is, before I spend months building some product, I want to validate that it's actually a good idea and see if people are interested in it. And one way to do that is by building a wait list. So if I can get 500 emails, that's a pretty good sign that there's a lot of people interested in this idea. If I can't, then it'd be better to skip that idea and move on to the next. So that's kind of my personal goal is I want to use this waitlist myself. And then also my YouTube channel really focuses around Hono. I'm a Hono fangirl and Cloudflare, so I figured this would be a really good course to teach these technologies. And then people have asked as well to teach industry standards. I've seen that a lot in the comments section. So there are a handful of things I want to focus on, making sure local dev first, you can test everything locally, and then automated testing too. I like to use the Bun test runner. And then CI/CD with GitHub Actions. Make sure I have a staging environment and a prod environment so you can test in staging live and know that the web app is working, and then linting and formatting. And I'll probably think of some other things to add to this list as well. But then the final kicker here is that at the end of the course, people who go through it will then have a production grade waitlist that they can use themselves, which is pretty cool. So they can validate their own ideas if they want to make their own products. Now let's take a look at the tech stack, the fun stuff. So, of course, Hono. Also, I'll be using on the front end Astro and React. Astro will be the static site generation tool, React for the dynamic parts of the website, Zod for validation on the back end, Drizzle for the database management, Tailwind for CSS. Daisy UI is the component library built on top of Tailwind. It's awesome. I love it. Used it in my previous videos. TypeScript, of course, and then Cloudflare. So the Hono API will be hosted on a Cloudflare worker, and the static assets will also be served from Cloudflare. And then Cloudflare D1 is a SQLite-based database they have. So as people sign up, we got to store their email somewhere, and that will be stored in the D1 database. And then I'll do the local development with Bun, and then Sentry is for capturing errors and alerting us when the website is having a problem. Gemini code review. So whenever I create a pull request, I can have Gemini review it. So it's kind of like having another person review my code, since I will be working on this solo. And then GitHub Actions for CI/CD and Resend for sending emails. So that's the tech stack. And then looking at the core features. So there's a fair amount here. The first thing is always to understand how you're going to measure success with this. So definitely I want to be able to count the number of signups, and that's why we're of course saving emails to the database. Got to be able to email people when the product is ready, and then conversion rate, being able to track how many people came and visited versus actually signed up. If people are visiting but they're not signing up, it means our waitlist is doing a bad job of communicating the value, or we're posting it in the wrong place and people who don't care about it are seeing it. Um, and then traffic sources too, so we can track if I post this on LinkedIn, is that where a lot of the traffic's coming from, or are people coming from YouTube and finding my waitlist? Like, how are people finding the waitlist? Being able to track that is really important. So those are the metrics I'm looking at. Maybe I'll think of more, but for now, that's pretty comprehensive. And copy, that means copywriting, which so that's the written content. So kind of have the basics here of a headline, what's the problem that the product solves, subheadline, who's the product for, some key benefits, estimated launch date, and social proof. Social proof is a powerful thing, but it's hard on a wait list because, well, you don't have a product, you don't have users saying, hey, this product is great. But what we can put is like your personal experience, why you're qualified to make the product, have a little bio of yourself. So I'm planning to do something like that. And then, of course, a footer for the like terms of service and copyright, junk like that. And then sign up. This is the key one here, the user journey with double opt in. So, what that means is the user is going to put their email in, click the sign up button. They see on the screen, like check your email, and then they'll go check their email and click the button in the email, which will then link them back to the wait list, and it'll say, like, your email is confirmed, like, thank you. And the reason why we do that is because if somebody like spams a bunch of fake emails, and then those end up in our database, we don't want to email all of those fake emails because sending emails costs money. Using resend, they have a pricing tier. So I don't want to waste my money on sending emails that are going to bounce from some fake email addresses. So if the email is not verified, then that either means fake email or the person doesn't care enough to verify. And either way, it means they probably don't care about the product. So verify and then only send emails to those who have verified. So then some of the other features here, so we can have a sign up counter. This is another way to get some social proof and show like, hey, 1,000 other people have joined, and that can be very powerful. And I'm still debating whether I want to do that as live updates with WebSockets or just a regular REST API endpoint. So I'm digging into that, and we'll find out what's better as I work on it. And then some system monitoring. So Sentry, as I mentioned, will be catching the errors, and then you can enable logging in the Cloudflare dashboard to see what's going on in the system. So definitely going to be doing that. And then bot prevention. So this, you'll be able to see like bad traffic in Cloudflare, and you can block a lot of it. So I'll show you how to do that. And then, of course, we'll need to set up a custom domain. That's really important for SEO. Otherwise, Cloudflare will give you some kind of like test domain. And then other SEO and performance items here, SSG with Astro, and then setting a title and meta data, and then open graph tags for sharing on social media, and sitemap and robots.txt. And then accessibility too. In order for something to be production grade, it needs to be accessible. So there's semantic HTML to consider, and then using some ARIA attributes for form states. And then there Astra has some built-in dev tools to help with this, and ESLint has a plugin as well. And then CI/CD with GitHub Actions, some security considerations, so CSRF, CORS, and then design. It needs to be mobile and desktop, so definitely that'll be a focus. And some other website basics, a 404 page if somebody somehow lands on the wrong page, copyright, terms of service, and a way to contact me too if there's some kind of issue or question or whatever. It's a good thing to have on there. And then last thing I have is rate limiting. So we're going to have a database, and um, there's a free tier, but also if you end up having to pay for your database, like you want to protect that database. You don't want some malicious actor just sending a bunch of crap at your database and filling it up that you have to pay for. So we want to rate limit and protect our database and protect our application. Now, I said that there's a lot that can go into a wait list, so I'd even put together these extra features that I was considering at first, and then I realized I won't have time to do all of these. But there's a lot more you can do with a wait list. Value proposition. So you could give out a freebie to incentivize people to join. You could give a special discount or early access or some free content, exclusive PDF, something like that. There's also referral programs where you say if somebody shares the link and they get 3, 5, 10 other people to sign up, then they get some kind of freebie to help people, sharing it and help it go viral. Social media sharing buttons, and you could add an admin dashboard to track these different things. Um, Status Cake is a uptime monitoring tool to make sure if if your waitlist goes down, your website goes down, it would alert you of that. And then you could do A/B testing too with Launch Darkly and test out different uh, different copy, different pictures, all sorts of different things to like really optimize the waitlist. It's a bit overkill, but if you were working for a Fortune 500 company with a lot of funding and they were, maybe they would want you to do something like that. And then some kind of unsubscribe feature. But really, this will be handled inside of the email. They get an email, they can click unsubscribe. So I'm not going to worry about that. And then just a little on the systems design is kind of taking it, looking at the three different parts: database, backend, and front end, and just listing out the things that I think I want to save in the database, and email should be unique. And then on the back end, there's going to be a sign up endpoint and then the sign up counter endpoint. So then, validation, I talked about rate limiting, preventing duplicate emails, prevent plus addressing. That's when somebody would put a plus sign with extra text in their email. We don't want one person putting like 20 email addresses with just the plus sign in there. That would be redundant and not good for our database. And then finally, the front end here. So we're going to have client side validation, a loading state, disabling the button to prevent spamming, success feedback, different types of feedback. If they duplicate email, like, hey, this is already there, or plus addressing and rate limiting feedback. So yeah, as you can see, there is a lot that goes into a wait list if you're truly trying to make it production grade. That's the thing. Is so from what I've heard from people is, a lot of courses on YouTube are just not all the way there for production grade. They um, they skip certain steps, cut some corners, and I really want to stand out here on YouTube, and one way to do that is try and make my content truly production grade. So it's a lot of extra work to do that. It really is, but hoping that you all enjoy that and that it pays off. So thanks for listening. Peace.